After the war, there was little left in the tiny Dutch town of Ulst. The townspeople lived on cabbages and seed potatoes. They patched and repatched their worn, thin clothing, and they went without soap or milk, sugar or new shoes. One spring morning, when the tulips bloomed thick and bright, Postman Kleinhunter pedaled his bicycle down the cobbled street. "Oh ho!" he whooped. "I have a box for Katja, a box from America." "America?" exclaimed Katja. "Who would send me a box from America?" "The Children's Aid Society," replied the postman. "Children in America are collecting and mailing many hard to find items to the children of Holland. You, young miss, were lucky to get one." Katja took the box. She rubbed her finger across the block letters that spelled USA, the land of plenty, she whispered. Katja's mamma came to stand beside her. "Open it," she urged. Peeling off the brown paper wrapping, Katja pushed back the flaps and pulled out a cake of soap. "What luxury," said Mamma. "No more bathing with gritty homemade stuff for you." Katja pulled out the next item, a pair of wool socks. "Now that is luxury," said Postman Kleinhunter. "Holland has become a sockless country since the war." He rolled up his pant leg to show his bare ankle. Katja dipped into the box again. Out came chocolate. Mamma sniffed, then sighed. "Oh, I've not smelled chocolate in years." Postman Kleinhunter smacked his lips. "I've not tasted chocolate in years." "Neither have I," added Katja. Her mouth watered as she remembered its creamy, rich sweetness. She could hardly wait to take a bite. Then she looked from Mamma's smiling face to Postman Kleinhunter's, and Katja made a decision. Quick! Before she could change her mind, she broke the bar into pieces and passed them around. For several moments, the three savored the almost forgotten taste. Then Postman Kleinhunter pointed. "That box is not empty yet." Katja reached in and pulled out a letter. It read, "Dear Dutch friend, I hope these gifts brighten your day. Your American friend, Rosie Johnson, 123 Elm Street, Mayfield, Indiana, USA." The postman nodded. "Yeah, Rosie's box brightened my day." "And mine," agreed Mamma. "I'm going to tell her," decided Katja. "I'm going to send a letter to Rosie." Dear American friend, thank you for the soap and for the socks, but most of all for the chocolate. Sugar is not found in Holland these days, so anything sweet is precious. My mother and Postman Kleinhunter very much enjoyed it too. Your Dutch friend, Katja van Stegeren. Weeks passed, and summer came, hot and bright. The townspeople of Ulst boiled cabbage, dug potatoes, and dreamed of meat and bread. One morning, while Katja and her mother pulled up their tulips, rubbed off the stems, and sorted the bulbs into bags, Postman Kleinhunter came pedaling down the street. "She has another one," he hollered. "Katja has another box from America." His shouts drew Mr. and Mrs. Deland and their 5 thin children from next door. Everyone gathered around as Katja eagerly opened the second, bigger box. "Johann, look!" shrieked Mrs. Deland when the flaps were pulled back. "I am looking," gulped her husband, "but I'm not believing my eyes." From the box, Katja pulled 4 bags of sugar and a letter from Rosie. "Dear Katja, no sugar? Yikes! That's so awful. Mother and I are sending you some. We included some for your postman, too. Your friend, Rosie." "Sugar, sugar, sugar," sang Postman Kleinhunter. Grabbing the sweetest Deland, he danced with the toddler to the word "sweet beat." And Katja made a decision. "There's plenty to share," she said. "Ah," sighed Mrs. Deland, dabbing away tears with the corner of her apron. "You are too kind. Danke, Katja. Thank you." Then, as Postman Kleinhunter sang, the children danced, and Mrs. Deland sniffled. Katja divided the sugar. Later, she wrote to Rosie. "Dear friend Rosie, so many sweets. How can I ever thank you? I shared the sugar with our neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Deland. They have 5 children who are skin and bones. With so little food in Holland, it is hard to keep anyone fed. Your gift has surely helped us. Your friend, Katja." Weeks passed, and autumn came, rainy and gray. The townspeople of Ulst picked the last of their cabbages and potatoes. They lined their old coats with newspapers to keep out the cold air, and they worried about the coming winter. "How will we survive without good food or warm clothing?" they asked each other. "How will we live?" Katja and her mamma worried too. But as always, they planted their tulip bulbs in the hardening ground and looked forward to the day the tulips would bloom. They were brushing dirt from their knees when Postman Kleinhunter came stumbling down the street. "It is a big one," he shouted. "So big I could not bring it on my bicycle. Yeah, yeah, a big, heavy box from America." His excited shouts drew Dr. Bose from his office and the widow Gans from her yard. They drew Mrs. Oosterveld and Schoolmaster Deleu and all 7 of the Delands. Everyone crowded around as Katje dug into this third, bigger box from America. "Wunderbar!" shouted Dr. Bose when he looked at the box. "Such generosity!" There were cans of meat, boxes of powdered milk, bags of sugar, and a letter from Rosie. "Dear Katja, jeepers, you'll never guess. Mother told her friends about your last letter, and they told their friends, and her doorbell just kept ringing. 'Send this to Katja,' people kept saying. So we did. Hope this puts some fat on those Deland kids. Love, Rosie." "Oh, it will," cried Mrs. Deland, and Katja made another decision. "There's plenty to share," she said. "Bless you," cried Mrs. Oosterveld. Amid kisses and hugs and heartfelt dankus, Katja divided the food. And later, she wrote to Rosie. "Dear Rosie, your box caused much excitement in Ulst. Almost everyone came to see what you and your kind townspeople had sent, and everyone left with a share of your gifts. For a small time, it was like a party here. People stopped worrying about the holes in their shoes and their threadbare coats. They did not think of the long, cold winter ahead. You see, your friendship has not only filled our stomachs, it has lifted our spirits as well. Love, Katja." Weeks passed and winter roared in, snow deep and bitter cold, the worst winter anyone could remember. The townspeople of Ulst layered whatever clothing they had. They huddled close to their small fires, ate sparingly from their almost empty cupboards, shivered, and prayed. One dark morning, when Katja felt as frozen as the tulip bulbs buried beneath the snow, there came a pounding on her door. She opened it to find Postman Kleinhunter and the townspeople crowded into the yard. "What a delivery I have for you!" whooped the postman. He pulled the sled, stacked high with boxes, straight into the house. "So many!" gasped Katja. "Ach, but there are more!" cried the postman. Squeaking his way through the crowd, he returned with another box-stacked sled, and another, and still another. There was barely room for boxes and people as Katja pushed back flaps and pulled out coats, mittens, shoes, socks, scarves, hats, and sweaters, cakes of soap, chocolate bars, and bags, cartons, and cans of food. At the very bottom of the last box, there was a letter from Rosie. "Dear Katja, you won't believe what's happening here. Everyone everywhere wants to send a box to you. The school organized a canned food drive. The church organized a clothes drive. Even the local businesses added items to the boxes. We hope there's enough here for all of your neighbors and friends. Love, Rosie." For several seconds, the townspeople of Ulst stood in speechless wonder. Then Katja cried, "There's plenty to share." "Hooray!" Postman Kleinhunter danced a jig in his new wool socks. Mrs. Deland wept while buttoning 5 warm coats, and Dr. Bose put down his cans to give the widow Gans a quick, joy-filled kiss. Mama wrapped her arms around Katja. "You have brought us a miracle," she said. "No," replied Katja, "Rosie did." All winter long, the boxes kept coming. All winter long, the townspeople stayed warm and well-fed. And all winter long, Katja wrote letters to her American friend, Rosie. Slowly, the snow melted and the wind lost its bite. Each day, more and more tulips poked their green tips through the soil, blooming into a sea of pink and yellow, purple and red. One more morning, Katja said, "It would be nice to send a box to Rosie." "Yeah," said Mama, "but what would we send?" Katja smiled as she told her. "It is a good idea," said Mama. "Oh, I like it," agreed Postman Kleinhunter. "We must do it," said the Delands, together, added Dr. Bose. And so, one sunbright morning, Mr. Everett, the mailman, hurried down Elm Street. "I have a box for Rosie," he announced. "A box from Holland." "Holland?" exclaimed Rosie. What could it be? Eagerly, she ripped off the wrapping and pulled back the flaps. "So many!" gasped her mother. Then Rosie read the letter. "Dear Rosie, we hope these tulip bulbs from Ulst will brighten Mayfield's days. Plant them in the fall and wait for a surprise in the spring. Love, Katja." And then we have tulips.